Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. And today we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps was founded right here in Philadelphia, November 10th, 1775. So now in 2025, it is the 250th anniversary, or the semi-quincentennial of their foundation. While Battleship New Jersey had a Marine detachment on board for much of her career, she had Marines assigned to the ship's crew. She also spent a large part of her career supporting the Marines ashore. And so in today's video, we're going to briefly touch on some of the ways that she did that throughout her career. During World War II, of course, she is supporting the island hopping campaign. She participates in every single amphibious operation from 1944 when she gets to the war all the way until the end. Most of those operations, she's providing indirect support. She's supporting the fleet carriers that are either using their aircraft to bomb the islands that we're invading, or they're screening to protect against the Japanese fleet or aircraft from other islands coming to disrupt the American invasion. So Battleship New Jersey's participation in operations like Kwajalein, Majuro, and Eniwetok, Peleliu, and the Philippines is kind of tangential. Now that said, by the end of the war, the invasions of Iwo Jima and Okinawa, New Jersey is providing direct gunnery support to the troops ashore. And this gunnery support is how she provides most of her support to Marines throughout time. Now, interestingly, she's decommissioned at the end of World War II. She's brought back almost immediately for the Korean War. She provides gunnery support throughout the Korean War during two separate deployments. However, we don't have any evidence that she supported the Marines during either of those deployments. It seems like the Marines were in more mountainous areas, kind of inland, and she was more supporting Army troops or Allied troops during the Korean War. So we haven't found any evidence of her providing gunfire support to like the 1st Marine Division that participates throughout the war, or anything like that. So that's kind of interesting. The Korean War, she may provide the least amount of direct support to Marines, despite their very heavy and very famous involvement in that war. During the Vietnam War, she spends one deployment over in Vietnam, and while she doesn't have any Marines assigned on board, this is the only time she doesn't have a Marine detachment on board, she does provide a lot of support to the troops ashore. Some of that support is pretty direct but not military, what's been called Operation Hilton, where we are bringing Marines from the beaches ashore. While they're on board, these Marines are getting a real bed to sleep in, they're getting meals, they're experiencing some air conditioning. Well, Marines ashore get meals. They're getting actual cooked meals, galley cooked meals on board that always come with desserts. They're getting showers on board the ship. And so that was a really fantastic way that the battleship supported Marines during the war. She also provided more direct military support as well. She did a lot of shore bombardment in I Corps area in support of the 1st and 3rd Marine Divisions during the war in 1968, 1969. And she had a couple of famous dates where she protected Marine outposts that were close to being overrun with really consistent and sustained bombardments, such as the famous February 22nd, 23rd bombardment, which is the one where she fires her 5-inch guns so much the paint bubbles off the barrels. Here's a picture of spent shell casings littering the decks around one of those 5-inch guns. Or likewise, on March 31st of that same year, 1969, she provides similar bombardment support. When she was being decommissioned at the end of her Vietnam tour, a report came out that estimated that she saved 100 lives a day that she was on the gun line. That her artillery was able to reach so far inshore, and she was so ready with that artillery. Whenever calls for support came in, she was able to put shells on target that saved American lives. In the 1980s, the battleship participated in the Lebanese Civil War. During the Civil War, you have American Marines participating as NATO peacekeepers in Lebanon, and some 240 of these Marine peacekeepers are killed in the Beirut barracks bombing while New Jersey is off the coast. So within a couple of months of the barracks bombing, New Jersey is allowed to fire on enemy positions inland in support of American troops and other peacekeepers, including Marines. Additionally, this is one of those few times where this ship's Marines, our Marine detachment, is flown onshore to help. And during the aftermath of the barracks bombing, the majority of our Marine detachment, our doctors, and even volunteers from the ship's crew are flown out to Beirut to help secure the area in the case of our Marines, to help dig through the rubble in the case of our sailors who volunteered, and to help treat the wounded from the explosion in the case of our medical personnel. So that 1983 and 1984 support of Marines is probably the most direct support that the battleship ever provided to Marines. Interestingly, from the late 1950s, when the last American battleship was decommissioned at that time, ending a nearly 100-year run of continuous commissioned battleships, the Marines have been the biggest supporters of bringing battleships back into service, especially as more and more carrier aviators took top spots in the Navy. The Navy didn't really have an interest in battleships. As ships that were no longer the premier surface warfare ships in the Navy, the Navy cared less and less about them, but their role in providing gunfire support to troops ashore meant that the Marines, the guys who have to hit the beaches, often contested beach landings, were the ones who were really heavily agitating to bring battleships back and to keep battleships in service. While the Marines' primary job might be going ashore, the Navy's primary job is not supporting them, at least as far as the Navy sees. They see their jobs as keeping sea lanes of communication open, which means fighting enemy fleets. And for that role, the Navy claims that the battleship isn't the best weapon system for that. And so in peacetime, they tend to not operate ships that support non-critical roles, like shore bombardment support. But in wartime, they tend to bring the battleships back. What do you think? In a future war, potentially a war with island invasions again, with the Marines hitting the beaches, do you think we will see battleships in service again? Let us know in the comment section down below. This might be reactivating old battleships. It might be building brand new shore bombardment support ships. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, as well as from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate that support, and there's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to the ongoing restoration of the battleship, such as of the Marine Detachment spaces below me, which are going to be open in the very near future. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.